A low, continuous hum echoed through the vast subterranean chambers of the Ark, humanity's last refuge. This deep, labyrinthine complex, carved out of the bedrock beneath what was once the northern tundra, had been designed to withstand time itself. Its walls, lined with advanced alloys and self-repairing nanites, shimmered faintly in the dim light as the cryopods began their revival protocols. Dr. Ilara Miles's pod was amongst the first to activate. The lid retracted smoothly, expelling a cloud of icy vapor as the seal broke. Her first breath was a painful gasp, the facility's recycled air sharp against her lungs. As the disorientation of 500,000 years of cryo-sleep ebbed away, sensors adjusted the light around her to help acclimatize her newly awakened eyes. System reboot successful. Welcome back, Dr. Miles, a synthetic voice intoned, emotionless and eerily calm. Ilara sat up, her head spinning as data from the terminal at her bedside started updating her on the status of the Ark and the world outside. The news was bleak. The external sensors had long since failed, and communications were down. The facility was running on geothermal power, barely maintaining the minimal life support systems. Struggling to her feet, Ilara noticed that many of the other pods in her section were still dormant, their occupants unmoving. A quick diagnostic revealed that several pods had malfunctioned, their inhabitants lost to time. The weight of her solitude pressed down on her as she stumbled through the cold, sterile corridors towards the control room. The control room was a vast, circular space, dominated by a colossal holographic display that currently flickered with static. Ilara's hands moved with practiced ease as she initiated the secondary systems. Gradually, the static cleared, revealing the map of the Ark and the status of all active pods. Dr. Miles, you have initiated manual awakening. Do you wish to continue with the sequence? The AI asked, its voice a constant monotone. Yes, continue. We need to find out what's waiting for us out there, she replied, steadying her voice as she prepared to wake her colleagues manually. One by one, pods hissed open, releasing more of the facility's denizens. Dr. Jonas Harrow, a botanist, was the next to awaken, followed by Dr. Lena Shu, an engineer. As the initial wave of confusion and disorientation passed, the small group gathered around the holographic map. Ilara, what's the situation? Jonas asked, rubbing his temples as he looked around. We're blind to the current state of the world above, and we've got limited power. Our first priority is to get our systems fully operational and send drones to the surface, Ilara explained, pointing to the areas of the map indicating the drone bays. Lena, more pragmatic, interjected, we also need to check our life support systems and food synthesis units. If we're to survive here, we need a stable base before we even think about the outside world. The team split up, each member attending to their designated tasks. Ilara headed towards the drone bay, her mind racing with possibilities of what they might find. She activated the drone controls, launching them to the surface, one to the east, one to the west, and one directly above the Ark. As the drones whirred away on their missions, the screens in the drone bay flickered to life, showing the first grainy images of the new world. Vast deserts where icy tundras used to be, sprawling fungal forests, and colossal weather patterns unlike anything recorded in history books. Ilara felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. Humanity had slept through a mass extinction and the rebirth of a planet. Now it was time to face the consequences of their ancestors' legacy. She wondered if they were the last humans left, or if other Arks had survived the eons. As the first images of luminescent flora and bizarre, twisted landscapes filled the screens, Ilara knew their old world was gone. They had awakened into something entirely new, utterly alien. This is it, she whispered to herself. Welcome to the future. Together they would explore this world, reclaim their place in it, or perhaps find a new way to coexist with the planet they once called home. The journey of rediscovery was just beginning, and every step into this new Earth was a step into the unknown. After hours of tense preparation and recalibrations, the first drone returned from its reconnaissance mission, its databanks filled with high-resolution footage and environmental readings from the new Earth's surface. Dr. Ilara Miles and her newly awoken team gathered in the drone bay, their eyes fixed on the main screen as the recorded images started to unfold. The drone had emerged in what appeared to be a vast desert, stretching endlessly under a sky streaked with hues of orange and green, indicative of a radically altered atmosphere. Sand dunes, towering and seemingly insurmountable, covered the landscape where the northern forests once thrived. As the drone ascended over what used to be a bustling metropolis, now only the skeletal remains of skyscrapers pierced the barren horizon, half swallowed by the sands. "Looks like the Sahara has taken over half the continent," Dr. Jonas Harrow muttered, his voice a mix of awe and despair. Dr. Lena Shu was busily analyzing the atmospheric data. "The air's got high levels of carbon dioxide and some very complex hydrocarbons. This isn't just climate change, it's planetary metamorphosis." As they processed the initial shock, the team focused on adapting their plans to this new world. There was no going back. Every step would be a step forward. Ilara detailed their immediate priorities. "We need to find a sustainable water source and ascertain the viability of the air outside. Jonas, see if any of your seed banks can germinate in these conditions. Lena, keep optimizing those environmental suits. We're going outside soon." With the next drone, they targeted the remnants of a coastal city, hoping the ocean might have retained some semblance of familiarity. However, the images that came back were startling. The ocean had receded significantly, leaving behind cracked seabeds now overrun with strange luminescent flora. Pools of water dotted the landscape, shimmering with bioluminescence under the alien sky. "Incredible," Jonas observed. "These plants are thriving without much water. Bioluminescence might indicate they've adapted to more than just drought." Ilara nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. They could be photosynthesizing under these new atmospheric conditions, or maybe it's chemosynthesis. We could use this adaptation. Plans formed quickly after that. They decided to collect samples of the bioluminescent flora along with any other biological entities they could find. The potential for these life forms to solve their imminent resource issues was too good to pass up. The following days were a flurry of activity. The team prepared for surface excursions, checking and double-checking their environmental suits, which had to be modified to handle the harsh conditions outside. Lena led the effort, engineering filters and support systems to cope with the toxic air and intense heat. Finally, they were ready. Ilara, Jonas, and Lena, along with two other scientists, Dr. Emilio Nunez and Dr. Maya Kapoor, suited up for their first expedition to the new Earth's surface. The airlock chamber hissed as it cycled to equalize the pressure with the outside. The door slid open, revealing the glaring, unfiltered sunlight of the new world. Stepping out, the crunch of sand under their boots was unnerving yet exhilarating. They made their way towards the nearest cluster of bioluminescent plants, their lights flickering softly in the daylight. The plants were unlike anything they had seen, tall, with thin translucent leaves that seemed to hum with an inner light. Jonas carefully collected samples, placing them into sealed containers that maintained internal humidity. Maya, meanwhile, was scanning the environment for any signs of animal life. But the drone hadn't lied. They were alone out here. The exploration revealed the harsh truth of their isolation. As the sun set, casting long shadows over the glowing landscape, they returned to the Ark, their minds heavy with the day's revelations, but also alight with scientific curiosity. "This world is waiting for us," Ilara said as they shed their suits back inside the decontamination chamber. "It's harsh, it's different, but it's ours now. We have the chance to rebuild, not just survive." They had taken their first real steps into a world 500,000 years removed from the one humanity had known. As the outer doors of the Ark sealed shut, sealing them back in their artificial haven, they all felt it, the weight of legacy, the promise of new beginnings, and the overwhelming mystery of what lay beyond their lighted corridors. The future, as uncertain as it was, started now. Over the following weeks, the surface expeditions became routine as the team adapted to their new environment and began extensive mapping and cataloging efforts. The strange bioluminescent flora, now dubbed phosphoflora, had become a central focus due to its unique properties and potential utility. Dr. Jonas Harrow spearheaded the agricultural experiments, attempting to integrate Phosphoflora's hardy characteristics with terrestrial crops stored in the Ark's gene banks. Dr. Ilara Miles, while overseeing all scientific and exploration efforts, began to piece together the ecological puzzle of this transformed Earth. Her team expanded their exploration radius significantly, discovering more about the planet's radical transformation. Each venture brought back data which, when pieced together, revealed a vivid picture of a dynamically balanced ecosystem. The Silvers. On one such expedition, the team encountered the Silvers, a species of large, sentient canids whose fur shimmered with a metallic sheen, reflecting the planet's peculiar light. Initial observations suggested that these creatures were not only intelligent, but had possibly evolved social structures complex enough to include rudimentary problem-solving skills and perhaps even forms of communication. "We need to approach them with caution," Ilara advised her team during a briefing in the Ark's main conference room. "They're clearly apex predators in this new ecosystem. Let's keep interactions observational for now, unless they initiate contact." The Silvers seemed equally curious about the human newcomers. During subsequent encounters, they maintained a respectful distance. Yet their intelligent eyes followed the team's every move, and they communicated among themselves using a series of low growls and high-pitched chirps that the team's linguistics expert, Dr. Hina Ridzvi, was eager to decode. Evolutionary marvels. As the months passed, the Ark's residents discovered numerous examples of evolutionary marvels. Plant-animal symbiotic relationships were the norm, with many species of flora housing colonies of small insect-like creatures that fed on the plant's secretions and in turn pollinated them. This intricate web of life had adapted perfectly to the harsh conditions, creating an ecosystem that was robust yet delicately balanced. Dr. Maya Kapoor, the team's environmental biologist, noted, "The rate of mutation and adaptation here is unlike anything we've seen. It's as if the planet has been conducting its own biological experiments in our absence." Integrating with a new ecosystem. The biggest challenge they faced was integrating themselves into this new world without disrupting its balance. Ilara was mindful of the disastrous human impacts on Earth's ecosystems in the past and was determined not to repeat those mistakes. "We have to be part of this ecosystem, not its conquerors," she often said. To this end, the team used the Phosphoflora to develop biolights, a sustainable lighting solution that utilized the plant's natural bioluminescence, reducing the Ark's energy consumption and its dependence on geothermal power. They also started cultivating food crops interspersed among the native Phosphoflora, creating a patchwork of agriculture that blended in with the local flora. This approach helped to establish a nutrient cycle beneficial to both the crops and the surrounding ecosystem, promoting a balance that supported both human and native life forms. The New Order. As their understanding of the planet grew, so did their respect for it. They were no longer just survivors of a long-forgotten civilization. They were pioneers on a new frontier. Ilara envisioned a world where humanity could redeem itself, living in harmony with nature rather than imposing on it. The Silvers, observing these humans integrating with their world without dominance or destruction, gradually became less wary. Small groups would approach the fields, watching as the humans worked alongside the Phosphoflora. It was during one such moment of quiet coexistence that a young Silver, braver than the rest, trotted up to Jonas, sniffing the air around him before gently nudging his hand with its snout. Jonas, understanding the gesture, offered his hand in peace. The creature's tail wagged slowly, a universal sign of goodwill. This first contact was a monumental moment, watched with bated breath by both species. It symbolized potential, a potential for mutual respect and perhaps one day cooperation. In this new world order, Ilara saw the faint outlines of a future where human and Silver might share the planet, learning from each other and thriving together. The Ark, once their refuge, had become their base of operations as they navigated this brave new world, a testament to human ingenuity and a beacon of hope for a new beginning. Several months into their new life on the radically changed Earth, the team at the Ark made a crucial discovery that would potentially accelerate their integration and survival on the planet: the legacy code. Buried within the Ark's deepest digital vaults and encrypted with sophisticated biometric locks, the legacy code was intended as a final gift from the pre-extinction civilization, a comprehensive digital library of all human knowledge. Deciphering the code, Dr. Ilara Miles, alongside Dr. Lena Shu, spearheaded the effort to access this treasure trove. The code was intricately linked to their DNA, a safety measure to ensure that only those from the Ark could unlock it. After weeks of attempts, a breakthrough came when Dr. Shu devised a method to synchronize their biometric data with the Ark's decryption protocols. As the legacy code unraveled, screens throughout the control room lit up, displaying texts, diagrams, and simulations from countless fields: medicine, engineering, history, agriculture, and more. The potential of such knowledge in their hands was immense, and the atmosphere amongst the team was one of electrifying potential. Among the myriad revelations the legacy code offered, one was particularly transformative: detailed schematics for a series of compact, high-efficiency solar collectors. These devices were designed to work even under the less-than-ideal light conditions of the new Earth, utilizing the full spectrum of light, including the ultraviolet and infrared, which were now more prevalent due to the atmospheric changes. With these, we can reduce our reliance on the geothermal systems and expand the Ark's energy reserves significantly, Lena explained excitedly as she laid out the plans for the first prototype. Another significant find was the genetic archive, containing data on pre-extinction flora and fauna that could potentially be resurrected or hybridized with existing species. Jonas took particular interest in this, seeing an opportunity to reintroduce lost plant species that could complement the current ecosystem's biodiversity, implementing ancient innovations. The team wasted no time. Within weeks, they had constructed the first batch of solar collectors, placing them around the Ark. The results were immediate and encouraging as their power capacity doubled overnight. Meanwhile, Jonas, with the help of the legacy code, began a careful selection process to determine which species from the gene banks could be introduced into the environment without disrupting its balance. He started with hardy varieties of grains and vegetables, modifying them to suit the harsh conditions outside. The legacy code not only provided them with technical blueprints, but also with cultural insights that helped the team understand their heritage better. Histories of civilizations, philosophies, art, and literature, all were consumed eagerly by the Ark's inhabitants, providing a psychological boost and a deeper sense of connection with their ancestors. Perhaps the most dramatic development from the legacy code was the revival of AI companions. These advanced AI entities, designed to act as assistants and repositories of knowledge, were reactivated, providing personalized guidance and expertise. Ilara was paired with an AI named Athena, whose specialty was strategic resource management. Athena proved invaluable, offering insights into optimizing their agricultural outputs and managing the Ark's increasingly complex systems. Moreover, her ability to simulate potential outcomes allowed Ilara and her team to plan several steps ahead, considering various scenarios before implementing real-world solutions. As they integrated the ancient innovations into their daily lives, the inhabitants of the Ark found themselves living in a unique blend of past and future. The old world's knowledge and the new world's resources combined to offer a beacon of hope. Ilara often stood in the control room, looking at the holographic displays showing green shoots of their crops sprouting in the cultivated fields amongst the phosphoflora, a sight that symbolized new life and new possibilities. The legacy code isn't just our past, it's the seed of our future, Ilara mused to her team during a meeting. It's given us a second chance, not only to survive but to thrive. We're going to rebuild, and we're going to make sure we honor both the Earth and our ancestors by being better stewards this time around. With the legacy code, the Ark's residents had a clear path forward, a synthesis of human ingenuity and natural adaptation. The future, while uncertain, was rich with the promise of rebirth and renewal. The task ahead was daunting, But with the combined knowledge of a civilization lost and the resilient vitality of a new world found, there was hope. They were ready to rebuild, to learn, and to grow, not just to exist, but to thrive and ensure the legacy of humanity continued in harmony with the Earth. As the Arcs community strengthened their foothold on this reborn Earth, their technological advances and expanded explorations brought them into contact with remnants of past human endeavors, particularly the AI cores. These were not just simple machines. They were highly sophisticated computational systems designed in the final days of the old world, perhaps as last-ditch efforts to preserve human achievements and oversee automated ecological restoration processes. Discovery of the AI cores. It was Dr. Lena Shu who first stumbled upon the coordinates for an AI core, cleverly embedded within the legacy code. The location was set deep in what was once a thriving tech hub, now just a series of crumbling edifices overtaken by the radiant phosphoflora. The core should contain data, lots of it. It might even have control over some of the geoengineering installations that were meant to kickstart the planet's recovery, Lena explained, her eyes alight with the potential of such a find. Accompanied by Ilara and a small team, Lena set out to retrieve the core. The journey was perilous. The landscape had not only changed topographically, but was also teeming with new predatory life forms that had adapted to the harsh conditions of the new world. Retrieval and reactivation. The core was located within the skeleton of a massive facility, its walls thick with vines and its interiors dark and cold. After navigating through the labyrinthine corridors, the team found the core, a large cylindrical unit, humming softly, indicating it was still operational. Using portable power units, they managed to bring it online. The core's lights flickered to life, projecting a holographic interface that illustrated its primary functions. It was indeed a geoengineering controller, equipped to perform atmospheric cleansing, water purification, and even some rudimentary climate control. "Athena, meet Prometheus," Lena joked as she introduced the core AI, which they named after the Titan who brought fire to humanity, to their own AI companions back at the Ark. Prometheus's revelations. Prometheus was a treasure trove of information. It held detailed records of the climate conditions leading up to the mass extinction, data on biodiversity loss, and even speculative models of future ecological trends. Most critically, Prometheus offered access to other AI cores scattered around the globe, each potentially controlling different aspects of the old world's recovery systems. If they could link them all, they might have a chance to accelerate the planet's healing process significantly. "The implications of this are huge," Ilara mused. "We could start major restoration projects. Imagine reintroducing forests, purifying the oceans, even restoring some semblance of the old climate." Integration and strategy. The integration of Prometheus into the Ark's systems allowed Athena and the other AI companions to significantly boost their computational power and data analysis capabilities. Strategies were developed for systematic restoration, areas most conducive to interventions were identified, and plans were meticulously crafted. Jonas, with the help of Prometheus, initiated the first experimental reforestation using genetically modified seeds from the Ark's gene banks. These seeds were designed to survive in the current conditions, but would gradually evolve to form ecosystems similar to Earth's ancient forests. A new hope. As they watched the first saplings begin to sprout, the team felt a renewed sense of purpose. The challenges were immense, but now they had access to tools that could genuinely restore the world, perhaps not to its old glory, but to a new form of it, one that could support human life and countless other species. Moreover, the community started broadcasting their findings and plans across the planet's surface using old satellite systems Prometheus had access to. It was a long shot, but if other survivors or Arcs were out there, they might respond. Echoes turn into voices. Weeks after the broadcasts began, a faint signal was picked up, an echo from a distant part of the globe. It was garbled, but there was no mistaking the structured pattern of the transmission. It was a response, a sign that they were not alone. Ilara gathered her team, her eyes bright with tears and hope. "This changes everything. We're not just surviving, we're reconnecting. Humanity might be scattered, but we are not extinct. We will find them, and together, we will rebuild. The chapter closed with the team looking out towards the horizon, the sky a deep crimson streaked with gold, reflecting not just the setting sun, but the dawning of new possibilities as humanity slowly began to thread its communities back together. The echoes of the past were indeed shaping the future, promising that the human legacy would endure, resonate, and expand into this new and vibrant world. With the revival of Prometheus and the integration of global AI cores, the team at the Ark found themselves at the cusp of a new era. The response to their broadcasts had come from several distant arcs, each surviving in isolated pockets of the transformed Earth. The possibility of reuniting humanity was within reach. However, a new, unexpected alliance was forming closer to home, between the humans and the Silvers. The first contact. The interaction that had started with tentative curiosity between the Silvers and the Ark's team grew into a cautious friendship. The Silvers, intelligent and remarkably adaptable, began to frequent the outskirts of the Ark, often observed studying the human activities from a safe distance. Recognizing the potential for a mutualistic relationship, Ilara proposed a plan to formally engage with the Silvers. She consulted with Dr. Hina Rizvi, the team's linguist, who had been working on deciphering the Silvers' communication patterns. "We've managed to crack some basics of their language," Hina reported. "They have a complex system of vocalizations and body language that conveys not just immediate needs but also emotional states. They're capable of abstract thought." Symbolic exchange. Ilara and a small delegation approached the Silvers with an offering: food and water, simple tools, and a collection of phosphoflora plants as a gesture of goodwill. The meeting took place in the neutral ground, a clear area visible from both the Ark and the Silvers' territory. The Silvers' leader, a robust elder with a striking silver mane, cautiously accepted the gifts. The elder inspected the items, particularly fascinated by the phosphoflora, whose bioluminescent glow seemed universally enchanting. In return, the Silvers presented the humans with a gift of their own, a beautifully crafted ornament made of woven vines and feathers, symbolizing their acceptance and willingness to cooperate. Building bridges. The initial exchange led to more structured interactions. The Silvers showed the humans several water sources that had eluded the Ark's surveys, and in return, Jonas taught them some basic agricultural practices, which could help both species prosper. Lena, utilizing her engineering skills, began working on adapting some of the Ark's older technologies for mutual use. She developed a simple irrigation system that benefited human crops and the natural plants favored by the Silvers. The Pact. Months of cooperation culminated in a formal pact. Ilara and the Elder Silver, now affectionately called Argent by the humans, marked the agreement not with a signature, but with a planting, a garden that featured both earth plants and those cultivated by the Silvers. "This garden will be a testament to our cooperation, a symbol of what we can achieve together," Ilara proclaimed during the ceremony, which was attended by both humans and Silvers. "Today we are not just forming an alliance, we are starting a partnership that will help us restore this planet to its full glory." New Eden. The success of their agricultural and technological exchanges led to the establishment of New Eden, a mixed settlement that served as a living model of interspecies cooperation. New Eden was a vibrant meld of phosphoflora fields and human crop circles, powered by solar energy and sustained by shared knowledge and resources. The settlement quickly became a beacon of hope, attracting more Silvers and even some human survivors from other Arks who had heard of this unique community. New Eden wasn't just a place, it was a concept, a vision of a balanced, sustainable life. Reflections. As she looked over New Eden, bustling with activity and glowing with the light of phosphoflora at night, Ilara felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The world was still vast, and many challenges lay ahead, but in this small corner of the planet they had found a way not only to survive, but to thrive. Through cooperation, we achieve balance. Through balance, we find peace, Ilara reflected. May this be the legacy of New Eden, a legacy of peace and prosperity. The chapter closed with the setting sun casting long shadows over the bustling settlement. Humans and silvers worked side by side, their laughter and voices mingling with the evening breeze, crafting not just a shared future, but a revived world. This alliance, once unthinkable, was now a vivid testament to the adaptability and resilience of all sentient beings, guided by mutual respect and united in their common goal of restoration and renewal. 5 years had passed since the establishment of New Eden, the pioneering model of interspecies cooperation that had flourished on the reborn Earth. Dr. Ilara Miles stood atop a gently rising hill overlooking the settlement. The sun was setting, bathing the land in a warm golden light that danced off the roofs of the habitat modules and illuminated the fields rich with earth crops and alien flora alike. New Eden had grown beyond anyone's expectations. What started as a simple communal farm had blossomed into a thriving town. Modular homes built from biocomposite materials housed families of humans and silvers alike, each structure ingeniously designed to harmonize with the surrounding environment. The center of the town was marked by the community hall, a large dome-like structure that hosted meetings, celebrations, and communal meals. It was here that plans were made, issues were debated, and the future was shaped by the voices of all residents, human and silver. Ilara walked through the marketplace, a bustling area where humans and silvers exchanged goods, stories, and laughter. Stalls lined the path, displaying everything from freshly harvested crops to artisan crafts made by silver paws and human hands. The marketplace was not just a trading area, but a vibrant hub of cultural exchange where two once very different societies shared their traditions and learned from one another. "Dr. Miles," called a young silver named Lyra, who approached carrying a basket of vibrant fruits. "Try this. It's a new hybrid. We followed Jonas's grafting advice." Ilara accepted the fruit, its skin smooth and colorful under her fingers. "It looks wonderful, Lyra, thank you," she replied, taking a bite. The taste was a perfect blend of sweet and tart, a testament to the agricultural successes of New Eden. Lyra wagged her tail, pleased. "We've named it the Starlight Fruit for its glow when ripe. It's become a favorite." Moving on from the marketplace, Ilara visited the research labs where human and silver scientists collaborated on various projects, from studying local ecosystem dynamics to developing new energy solutions. One of the significant achievements was the creation of a bioreactor that used organic waste to produce clean energy, drastically reducing their reliance on solar power and enhancing their sustainability. As she observed the lab workers, Ilara noted the integration of silver sensory capabilities with human technological know-how, creating devices that were not only effective, but also perfectly adapted to their environment. Perhaps closest to Ilara's heart was New Eden's school, where young humans and silvers learned side by side. The curriculum was a blend of practical skills, like farming and engineering, and theoretical knowledge, including history and ethics, taught from both human and silver perspectives. We're not just building a community, we're nurturing a new generation that will see this world differently from us. They won't know the divisions that once defined us, Ilara discussed later with Dr. Jonas Harrow as they walked towards the edge of town, where the green of the fields met the wild, untamed lands beyond. Standing there, Ilara felt a profound connection to everything around her, the town, the people, the whole planet. This was their new frontier, their sanctuary, and their test. They had built something extraordinary, not just for themselves, but for future generations. As the stars began to appear in the twilight sky, a peaceful silence settled over New Eden. Lights twinkled within homes, mirroring the stars above, a symbol of the light they had brought back to Earth. "The old Earth is gone, Jonas. We can't bring it back. But we can build something new, something better," Ilara said, her voice steady and sure. Jonas nodded, looking out over the fields where children of both species played. "We've been given a second chance, Ilara. Not many species get that. We've got to make it count." As night fell over New Eden, Ilara felt the weight of their past struggles lift slightly, replaced by hope for the future. This was more than survival. It was renewal. They had faced extinction and emerged not just intact, but improved, tempered by adversity and strengthened by unity. The legacy of humanity and the Silvers would not be defined by the forces that once threatened to wipe them out, but by the world they chose to build from the ashes of the old. A world founded on the principles of mutual respect, shared knowledge, and combined strengths. Ilara turned from the fields and walked back towards the community hall, ready to face whatever challenges awaited, for she knew that together they could face anything. New Eden was just the beginning, a beacon of what could be achieved when two worlds, not so different after all, came together to rewrite their stars. The journey was just beginning, but it was a journey they would make together, into a future bright with promise.